Thank you, John. So, John, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you're going to say?
Thank you. My name is John Muhanji. I am the director of Friends United Meeting Africa Ministry, coordinating churches, schools, hospitals, and mission fields in the East African region, including DRC Congo. I came to this ministry from a banking sector, but I have grown into this, and we have seen the Church of Friends United Meeting in Africa grows to a bigger level than it has ever been, and spread it to many closer areas. And we are going to speak on the issue of Ubuntu, which is we've been incorporated into the area of what I do mostly. And therefore, as we share about the Ubuntu community and the other issues, I hope you will be able to get and understand how Quakers have continued to navigate through communities and build up a good relationship and develop a cohesive environment for the neighbors and other communities near them.
Thank you. So just in this session, we're thinking about what we can do as a community. And I wonder if you could say something about how we cherish one another.
Thank you. First, I would like to respond to this from the point of Ubuntu. Ubuntu is an African philosophy that means I am because we are. And Ubuntu denotes our interconnectedness. We depend on each other in ways, in big and small. We reach our potential both on individually and on society. We must help others achieve theirs. I am because we are. And therefore, Ubuntu, our community, and especially in Africa, depends on one another. African relations is a social kind of relationship. We live a socialist environment, life. We care for one another. I remember when I was growing up, when we would want to light a fire, I would go to my neighbor. My mother would send my neighbor with a plate to carry the fire, the coal of fire, literally real fire, carrying it from the neighbor, taking it to our house and lighting fire with it. Sharing whatever little we have is a community that creates the element of Ubuntu, that I am because we are. From an African perspective, we believe none exists without the other. And we must live because Ubuntu means Muntu, meaning a person and a human being. And therefore, the Ubuntu spirit in the community is the spirit of unity, the spirit of care, the spirit of understanding one another, the spirit that comes out very strongly, that creates an ethical approach to providing opportunity for human beings to live according to certain level and living a human principle, such as reciprocity, common good, peaceful relationship, emphasis on human dignity, and the value of human life, as well as consensus, tolerance, and mutual respect. That's what builds up a community.
Thank you. Thank you, John. And can you say, name one thing that you could contribute to the community?
The Ubuntu spirit comes in the spirit of ancestral and kingship and the community that is woven into self and the caring for one another. So one of the key elements, especially I myself, every year I organize sporting activities in the community where I was born that brings all the young people into soccer games, into volleyball, into netball, and it brings these young people after school for 2 months, November and December, that brings them together and share in common the sporting activities that really make them feel they are because of who the others are, appreciating each other and bringing peaceful cohesion within the community, and making these young people within the community not engage into activities that may be of evil nature, drugs, early sex and pregnancy, and criminal cases, because young people have innocent involved. So that involvement of bringing young people together into sporting activities has transformed the young people and the community from understanding who they are and appreciating each other, and looking forward of building sporting and athletic activity among them that has seen the community cohesively. Example, in 2008, when Kenya had a post-election violence, this community did not engage in post-election violence. They were busy playing and doing the games in the community, while the surrounding areas community, there was fire, there was peace within where these young people are. That was the spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit that brings out the care, that provides an opportunity for us and for people to care for one another. And that's just as I wind up. The Ubuntu philosophy articulates such important values as respect, which I saw in these young people, human dignity, which I saw, compassion was seen because we shared food and other items and the prizes, solidarity and the consensus, which demands conformity and loyalty to the group. However, modern African society is consisted of people from different cultures and backgrounds, and all this brings up together at the spirit of Ubuntu.
Thank you, John. You've already answered part of this question, I think, but is there anything you want to add when thinking about what new ways can we find to work together?
The world at this particular point is drifting from the Ubuntu spirit that is really the thing right now, and it's drifting to more individualistic through the capitalist world. What I'm looking forward, the spirit that is within us as we gather even in South Africa for this conference, with the practices of Ubuntu with regard to humanity. There is need for care, there is need for sharing, there is need for teamwork spirit, there is need for compassion, there is need for dignity, there is need for consensus, there is need for decision-making systems, there is need for respect of the environment. And these are positive elements that could make positive effect on changing the environment, and it can contribute towards the improvement of corporate performance in our society as a community. And I end up by the golden rule of Ubuntu. I speak to that. That is, treat others the way you would like to be treated. Ubuntu, I speak to that. We are all the same people, and we all are connected. I believe we can actually even forgive one another from the injustices we have seen happening from the old. I believe as we gather in South Africa, through the Ubuntu spirit, the injustices we saw for many years, even in South Africa, and from the colonial approaches of life before, we are looking at how we can actually live a life of seeing we are because you are. And Ubuntu is coming in to wipe out all those injustices and the things that we could have not done well, to see ourselves walking hand in hand, the British holding the African, holding the Australian, holding the Brazilian, holding the American, holding the Russian, and walking the path of the Ubuntu as we celebrate the spirit of oneness, because we are because you are. That is the spirit I'm looking forward to see taking place in the environment we are living in today. And I believe God has a reason for giving such a strong theme for us to think and revolve over as we reconnect ourselves and build a world to be a safe place to live in, for recognizing each other's gifts and who we are.
Thank you. Thank you. And moving on to the final question, I wonder if you could say something about how you and other friends can be sensitive to each other's needs and to God's promptings.
That is where the areas where we talk about the ethical principles of Ubuntu comes in to practice. The Ubuntu ethics defined as a set of values providing an opportunity for human beings to live according to certain human and humane principles. And this comes up from the element of reciprocity and common good and peace relationship, emphasizing on human dignity and the value of human life, as well as consensus, tolerance, and mutual respect. It is important in this aspect for us to live with tolerance to one another, irrespective of our condition, irrespective of our status, irrespective of who we are in the society and what kind of situations we are in, what we need to live a life of the valuing human life, being consensus in what human life is, and being tolerant and mutual respect to one another. What we have lacked in future for many times, we are not tolerant for one another. We are not respecting one another. We lived in classical element that we have, I don't have, for those who have, and those who don't have, the white and the blacks, the white and all that. Those issues that divide us is no longer the element under the theme of the Ubuntu. And that's where the Ubuntu ethical principles come to play part. And that is where the Ubuntu philosophy also based on genetic life values of justice is based on the genetic value of responsibility, is based on genetic value of equality, collectiveness, relatedness, reciprocity, love, respect, dependability, and sharing, trust, and integrity that is incorporated into unselfishness and social change. That's how I look at how we can live bearing with one another. We may not be the same at the same level in our reasoning, in our capacity, in the way of life, but I believe through the spirit of the Ubuntu and through this philosophy of genetic life values that can give us a new approach to being a society and a community that loves, that respects, that is unselfish, that is full of integrity and trust, and sharing what we have. Those we have had, looking at how we reorganize and heal their hearts from being hurt. Those we have offended, how do we respond to saying sorry and bring them back and walk up with them? Those we have abused, how do we respond and say, we are sorry, it was a slip of the tongue? That is the spirit of the Ubuntu. We are looking forward to building up a society. And the Quakers have that. And with this as a Quaker society and a Quaker community, we can build a society that can actually live under these values and under the philosophy of the Ubuntu that we are talking about now.
John Muhanji, thank you very much for sharing those thoughts.
Thank you.